Hey folks, welcome back. So the first thing we're going to work on this week is I want to hit those bolts or the nuts on the bridge that are kind of holding our arch pieces in place. Hit those with another shot of penetrating oil. Just get a little bit more of that working in there. It's not going to do it any harm, that's for sure, and hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier when we try and take those off. So now that we have that done, the first thing we're going to work on this week is trying to mill up some more of our white oak logs. Now, as you recall, last week we finished off the week by doing a little bit of milling after we had done some maintenance repair work on the engine on the sawmill here. And we got 2 of our 5 white oak logs milled up, and of course these are for the decking for the bridge rebuild. So hopefully we're going to get these other 3 milled up maybe today and tomorrow, and then sometime later this week we can go pick up a few more. So one thing that I'm actually going to be testing out today on the mill is I actually took off the handle that raises and lowers the mill, and I stuck a cordless drill on there instead. And we're going to give this a go because on the Woodland Mills HM130, the crank is very, very slow on it. It's something like each revolution is 1/4 of an inch or something like that. In other words, it takes a lot of cranking to raise this thing up and down. So we're going to try the drill. Eventually, I would love to get a motor to put on there and have a switch where I can just use that to raise it and lower it. That probably won't happen until after I get an electric service set up out here, so that it would be a little easier to, you know, keep up with the electronics, tend the battery on that and whatnot. But anyway, today we're going to give this drill a try and see if that makes things a little bit easier. Alright, well, we got that one all cut up. That one, it went pretty well, and man, having the drill on there, that is slick. That is really slick. I like that a lot. I've been thinking for a while now that I've been wanting to put some sort of a power raise and lower on there. I haven't gotten around to figuring out how I wanted to get it all set up yet. But in the meantime, this is the way to do it. It really is. Alright, well, as you could see, we got a couple logs done today, and we also got our sawdust all cleaned up out of here, so we're ready to go again. It was piling up there a little bit too high, and I didn't want the chute to be dragging through it and start shoving it underneath the tracks. So went ahead and got that all cleaned up as well. So we're down to one more log, and it looks like it should be a pretty nice one. It's nice sized, it doesn't have too many knots on it, so we should be able to turn it with the cant hook, and that makes it easier than having to use the loader to turn a log every time. But we'll work on that tomorrow. It's about 8 o'clock, so I'm ready to head out of here for today. Also, I'll contact the logger this evening and let him know that if he has any available, hopefully we can pick up some more logs sometime later this week. Alright, well, we have a couple hours here today, so we're going to try knocking out this very last white oak log that we have. We should be able to get that done no problem. And then also, I'd like to get that stuff stacked and stickered, because the previous day we were out here, I just kind of dumped the boards beside the trailer. I didn't get around to getting them appropriately stacked up there. Now, I gotta admit here, I'm a little bit ticked off right now because I just realized I forgot to bring the battery powered drill with me. So I'm gonna have to crank this thing by hand to make it go up and down today. Now, of course, fortunately we only have one log to do, but you know, practically going back to the Stone Ages having to crank this thing here. So, but I think we'll make it through. It's just gonna be a little bit more work. Alright, so I'm taking a second or two here to try and figure out what the best way to do this log is going to be, because as you may have noticed, we've kind of got a bit of a rotten spot in here. So we're down to one more log, and it looks like it should be a pretty nice one. And I mean, like, I can fit my whole hand right into there. It should be a pretty nice one. And it kind of goes in and down a little bit. A pretty nice one. I'm obviously going to be losing some boards out of here because of this, but I'm trying to figure out the best way to cut it so I can get as many boards that don't have any rot in them as possible. Alright, so we got the few boards that came from that final log moved over here. And I think what I'm gonna actually do is stack these last boards, which these are from the other day, as well as this couple from today. I'm gonna stack them right over here beside the trailer instead of on it, because I'm not for sure how much weight this this jack at the front can hold. I kind of don't think it's probably meant to hold a whole lot, so I don't want to overdo it, and I've got all this stuff moved towards the front. That way I can get in with the forks and lift this stuff off. So it's definitely tongue heavy over here, so we're just going to stack the rest of it right here beside it. I got a few pallets to keep them off the ground with, and I think that'll work just fine for temporary storage. All right, well, we got it all stacked, and we've got about 70 2x6s over here, and that's out of 5 logs. Now we've also got some 1x material over there that I haven't cut to any particular width, so I'm not entirely sure how wide I want to cut that stuff yet. So that's still over there, and I might be able to get some sort of shorter stuff out of that remaining cant that had kind of the not so great stuff in it. And again, I'm not entirely sure what I'll want for that, but you know, we'll keep that off to the side, and if we need any shorter pieces, we'll try cutting something out of that thing. Now, I have gotten asked from time to time about how long the band blades last. And for doing these 5 logs, they were 12 foot long, well, more like 12 and a half, 12 foot 8, something like that. And I'd say they averaged around maybe 20 to 24 inches diameter, something like that, probably closer to the 20-inch side. And I went through about a blade and a half, I would say, because I started with kind of an older one on there, ran that for a little while, then I put on a new one, ran that one all the way through, and then put another one on and just ran that a little bit right at the end for this very last one. So that was about a band and a half worth of cutting that it took to get through these 5 white oak logs.